Hollowbrook High School, a sprawling, centuries-old institution, nestled deep within the heart of a small quiet town, was not without its secrets. Its history, marred by tales of mysterious disappearances and unexplained phenomena, had earned it a sinister reputation among the locals. But despite the whispers that lingered in the air, it continued to function as any other school, welcoming students and teachers with open arms. Miss Emily Dawson, a young and eager educator, had recently accepted a position as the new history teacher at Hollowbrook High. Fresh out of university, she was excited to start her career. The town had always held an eerie allure for her, and she was eager to see if the stories of the school's supernatural occurrences were true. On her first day, Emily couldn't help but notice the dilapidated condition of the school building. The paint was peeling, and cobwebs adorned the corners of the hallways. It was as if the very walls of the school were haunted by memories of the past. Nevertheless, she pushed aside her unease and focused on preparing her classroom for the upcoming semester. As Emily arranged her books on the dusty shelves, a sudden chill swept through the room, causing her to shiver. She glanced around but saw no open windows or vents that could explain the sudden drop in temperature. Dismissing it as a draft, she continued her work. That night, as Emily prepared to leave the school, she couldn't shake the feeling that she was being watched. The empty hallways echoed with faint ghostly whispers, and her footsteps seemed to be accompanied by distant eerie laughter. She quickened her pace, eager to escape the oppressive atmosphere. The days turned into weeks, and Emily settled into her routine at Hollowbrook High. She couldn't deny the odd occurrences that seemed to plague the school, but she tried her best to rationalize them. She had heard rumors of students going missing over the years, but she assumed they were merely urban legends meant to scare newcomers. One evening, Emily decided to stay late to grade papers. As she sat at her desk, a low, mournful wail echoed through the empty halls. She froze, her heart pounding in her chest. The sound was like nothing she had ever heard before, a haunting melody that seemed to seep into her very soul. With trembling hands, she gathered her belongings and hurried out of her classroom, determined to find the source of the sound. As she ventured deeper into the school, the wail grew louder and more distinct. It led her to the basement, a place that had always been off-limits to students. Emily descended the creaking stairs into the dimly lit cellar, her footsteps echoing in the eerie silence. There, in the flickering light of an old lantern, she saw a piano covered in dust and cobwebs. Its keys were stained with age, but the instrument itself appeared to be in perfect condition. The mournful melody continued to emanate from the piano, as if played by invisible hands. Emily cautiously approached the instrument, her curiosity overcoming her fear. As she reached out to touch the keys, a sudden gust of cold wind extinguished the lantern, plunging the room into darkness. In the pitch-black cellar, Emily felt a presence beside her. She could sense someone or something hovering just inches away. Panic gripped her, and she fumbled for her phone, using its weak light to illuminate the area. To her horror, she saw a ghostly figure standing beside the piano, its pale, ethereal form shimmering in the feeble glow. Its face was twisted in anguish, and its eyes bore into Emily's soul with a sorrowful intensity. Terrified, Emily stumbled backward, rushing up the stairs and out of the basement. The wailing ceased as soon as she left the cellar, and the school returned to its eerie silence. Emily couldn't shake the encounter in the basement. She became consumed with the need to uncover the truth about Hollowbrook High's dark history. She delved into old records, newspapers, and archives, determined to find answers. She discovered that the school had been built on the grounds of an ancient cemetery, where countless souls were said to rest. Over the years, a series of tragedies had befallen the school, from unexplained accidents to students and teachers, mysteriously vanishing without a trace. It was as if the very land upon which the school stood was cursed. The more Emily uncovered, the more she became convinced that the spirits of the restless dead were responsible for the eerie happenings at Hollowbrook High. She decided to seek help from a local historian, Mr. Jameson, who had spent his life studying the town's history. Mr. Jameson was initially skeptical of Emily's claims, but agreed to accompany her to the school one evening. As they entered the building, the temperature dropped and the eerie whispers filled the air. Mr. Jameson, a seasoned investigator of the paranormal, was visibly unsettled. They made their way to the basement, where Emily had encountered the ghostly figure at the piano. As they descended the stairs, the wailing began again, louder and more mournful than ever. Mr. Jameson's face paled, and he muttered incantations under his breath, attempting to communicate with the spirits. The ghostly figure materialized once more, standing before the piano, its spectral form writhing in anguish. Emily watched in awe as Mr. Jameson spoke to the spirit, asking it to reveal its story. The ghostly figure, a young woman named Sarah, had died tragically in the late 1800s. She had been a talented pianist and had played at the school's events. But her life had been cut short when she fell down the basement stairs while carrying her beloved piano music sheets. Her death had been a horrifying accident, and her spirit had been trapped in the school ever since. Tears filled Sarah's ethereal eyes as she recounted her story, and Emily felt a deep sense of empathy for the tormented spirit. Mr. Jameson, using his knowledge of the paranormal, performed a ritual to help Sarah find peace. As the ritual concluded, Sarah's ghostly form dissipated, leaving behind a sense of calm. With Sarah's spirit at rest, the haunting at Hollowbrook High began to subside. The eerie whispers ceased, and the temperature returned to normal. The school, once shrouded in darkness, seemed to come alive with newfound energy. Emily's discovery of the school's dark history became a local legend, and she continued to teach there, now with a deeper connection to the past. The students and teachers who had experienced the supernatural events now felt a sense of closure and peace. Over time, Hollowbrook High transformed into a place of learning and inspiration, no longer haunted by its grim past. Emily often thought of Sarah, the young pianist, and hoped that she had finally found the peace she had longed for. As the years passed, Emily Dawson became a respected teacher in the town, sharing the story of Sarah and the haunting of Hollowbrook High with each new generation. The town's sinister reputation began to fade, replaced by a sense of wonder and history that drew visitors from